What a nice surprise to see all of my friends at the Best Buddies Leadership Conference. I was just thinking about you guys here on the beach, such a beautiful day. And I know you've all been sitting inside and you've been learning all of this great stuff for the past few days. And I hope today has been no exception and you're feeling great. Now, I was thinking about you guys because I have this wonderful little Best Buddies mask that was given to me from the last time that I saw you, when we did some fun exercises and we changed some thoughts that were going on. Today, I have been asked to be part of your wellness break for the leadership conference. So today we are going to explore some fun ways to mobilize the body and the mind by stretching from the heart. Now, this is all about self-care. But first, you're going to want to know, who is this guy that's talking to you if you've never seen me before? I'm Mark Edgar Stevens. I am a friend of Kathy DeRusso's, and I got to speak with a smaller portion of the Best Buddies leadership team earlier this year. So my joy, my passion is in being able to help people change the way they think and change the way that they feel. Now, I do this through body language. I do this through deep breathing, through just changes in thought, changes in environment sometimes. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to experience, what does it feel like to make a change in the way that we feel or the way that we think from our heart by stretching from our heart. So you can stay seated or you can stand up. That's up to you, whatever you feel most comfortable with, whatever is good for you. But these next few exercises are meant to allow you to take a little bit of a break from what you've been learning and move into just a pure heart space. I am a big fan of changing what I think, which changes what I feel, which changes my experience of the world. And the way that I first like to start doing this is by deep, deliberate breathing. So our very first exercise, I want you to put your hand on your heart. Now, the heart is a great place to start with everything. And of course, we know here at Best Buddies, we are doing a lot of things straight from the heart. So we are going to breathe into this heart area. Take in just a good deep breath with me. Here we go. Oh, you notice how that heart raises, and you know how it feels so good just to breathe very, very deeply. Taking a next second deep breath. Deep, deliberate breath. Okay, one more deep, deliberate breath. Here we go. And you know, the thing about deep, deliberate breathing, and I'm going to ask you to keep your hand on your heart and keep breathing very deeply as you're watching me and as you're listening to me talking about deep, deliberate breathing. The thing about deep, deliberate breathing is that we are told that our breathing is an involuntary action. But just think about it for a moment. If you can turn your deep, deliberate breathing, keep breathing, into a deliberate action, into something voluntary, then what are the other things in life during this time when everything is changing, when so much is unknown, that we can turn into something very deliberate, something very voluntary? If we can do this with our breathing right now, oxygenating our blood, slowing down our thoughts, slowing everything down except for our breathing, and we actually feel a little bit better from doing this deep, deliberate breathing in this wellness break, then what else is possible for us in terms of making changes in our world with our best buddies, with our leadership team, with our administration, with the world, at a greater level with the world? How do we make those changes? We don't have to figure it all out, but if we can breathe very deeply and be deliberate with our intentions, deliberate with what we're thinking and what we're feeling and what we're targeting, then not only do we feel good, we also have a better opportunity, a greater potential for being able to breathe into and achieve the things that we want to achieve. So if you're feeling a little bit better from that deep, deliberate breathing that we just did, you're going to love this very next thing that we're going to do, because we're going to build upon these ways of mobilizing the mind and mobilizing the body by stretching from the heart. The last time I was with Best Buddies, I introduced the idea of a thing called power poses. Now, power poses were introduced to us by a wonderful woman, a superhero in my world, named Amy Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y. You can take a look at her TED Talk. And what Amy introduce to everyone is that when we change our body language, one of my areas of expertise, when we change our body language, we change the way that we feel. We can actually start to feel the way that our body is telling us we should feel. Just like when you smile for a while and after a while you just feel good. Same thing with power poses. Now, here's what a power pose looks like. So, whether you are sitting down or standing up, put your hands on your hips just like this. Okay, there we are. Oh, you saw my microphone. Put your hands on your hips just like this. Pull your shoulders back, lift your chin up, and try your best to do what I'm doing with my face, which is called a smile, by the way. So a smile looks like this. Both sides of your lips turn up, and your eyes crinkle just a little bit. Now, some people try to get rid of these crinkles. Never get rid of the crinkles. The crinkles show that you are really and truly smiling. So hands are on the hips, shoulders are back, chin is up, got a smile on the face, got nice crinkles going there. And we're going to go back to that deep, deliberate breathing. Take in a good deep breath. And I want for you to notice that for the next few minutes, as we hold this power pose, as we hold this pose that looks and feels like confidence, this power pose that feels a little like Wonder Woman or Superman or Batman, feels like we can stand on top of the world and we can very deliberately and with a great deal of confidence say we are doing great things in the world. Best Buddies is doing great things in the world. I want you to notice that when we breathe very deeply and we keep holding this power pose and we actually add in this next phrase. In fact, add in this next phrase with me. Here we go. We're going to take a deep breath and say, Best Buddies is doing great things. Another deep breath. I am doing great things with Best Buddies. Taking another good deep breath. I love Best Buddies. Another deep breath. I love Best Buddies. And now I want for you to notice, going from this power pose, I want for you to go into a pose of victory. And this is what victory looks like. Sometimes we are pumping our fists up into the air, and we often are looking up. We are looking up because sometimes when we look up, we actually are looking for that thing above us that helps us, even when we don't know how we're going to get to the next thing, and it helps us to win. So everybody, hands up, breathing deeply, and say, we are doing great things at Best Buddies. Everybody, here we go. We are doing great things at Best Buddies. I love Best Buddies. Take a deep breath. Oh, and drop that down. And now notice, what's happened is we actually got some of the blood to move out of our hands, move out of our arms, and back into our heart. Now, isn't it interesting that where the heart is pumping and where we're breathing very, very deeply, that we oxygenate the blood, we feel stronger, we feel a little bit more stimulated, maybe even our shoulders came back just a bit. That smile, which we were just, acting like a smile, maybe it's actually now a real smile. And you're going to notice that by breathing very deeply, you're already starting to feel better. Another thing happened while we were doing all of that. What was it? We were talking about Best Buddies. We were talking about something that you already feel passionate about. So with this next exercise, I want you to put both hands on the heart. And I want for you to think about the most inspiring thing about Best Buddies. That can be somebody with whom you work. It can be someone that you've placed. It can be something that you do administratively in terms of fundraising. Anything that you want to think about. There is no right or wrong answer. It just simply has to be inspiring. It's got to feel good. So get that thought in your head. So I'm going to think about Kathy DeRusso. Okay, so Kathy's a good friend of mine, and she knows how crazy I am to be able to come on, step out of my corporate world, and do this wonderful, wonderful work that you guys are doing today on this wellness break here at the beach. Okay, so hands are on the heart. I'm going to think about crazy Kathy DeRusso, and I'm going to think in particular about a moment that I shared with her on the 3-day a long time ago. And as I think about that, you notice that I smile, and there's a genuine laugh that comes up. I did not plan that. That just came up thinking about Kathy, and Kathy knows what I'm thinking about, right? And I put you on the spot, right, Kathy? All right, everybody take a deep breath into that thought, into that memory that you're holding on to. Breathe into it. Yeah, take another deep breath. Take one more deep breath. We're doing great things at Best Buddies. Now just drop your hands. Shake them out just a little bit, shake out your shoulders, and notice that in the last few minutes, since we've been breathing deeply, in the last few minutes, since we've been focusing our thoughts on things that make our hearts expand, that our bodies feel a little bit better. Why is that? Is it because of the smile? Is it because we're moving? Is it because of the power pose? Is it because you've got someone ridiculous in front of you that is saying, wow, this actually feels good? Is it because you thought of that inspiring thing? It's all of these things. You can consciously and voluntarily make a choice about what you're feeling, and how you proceed into the world makes a difference by how you approach it. How do you approach it? Change your thought, change your feeling, show up differently. How can you do that? Deep, deliberate breathing, stretching from the heart, power poses, thinking about all of the good things that you're doing. And when you keep your focus in that direction, that is the best wellness break that you could possibly ask for, because it keeps you in alignment with where you're going, with all of these wonderful people with whom you're working, all of this wonderful mission that you have in front of you. But we're not finished yet, because I've got a whole 23 minutes with you. You're going to have time to go to the restroom. You're going to have time to get another cup of coffee, whatever it may be, but stay with me a little longer because it's going to be fun. So with this next exercise, we're going to start from the heart, both hands on the heart, just like we were before. If you have a wall on either side of your beach, make sure you have enough distance between your beach wall, because I have a beach wall right over here. And so that you have enough room to be able to do this. Take both arms all the way out, both arms all the way out, and feel yourself stretching from the heart. Feel your fingertips really spread open wide. Remember, you've been sitting in front of a computer. You've been listening so intently. And I want you to allow the shoulders to just drop back, pull back just a little bit, lift the chin just slightly, and stretch from the heart. Good. And as you do that, take a deep breath in as you raise the hands up. And raising the hands up and looking up, sometimes that feels so good. And now I want you to pull all the good stuff down and put it right back into your heart, and take another good deep breath. That felt so good. Sometimes when we reach up, it's as if we're reaching up for something invisible and saying, hey, this invisible thing that's up there, can you give me a little bit of help? Because I'm trying to do something really good here. So let's go ahead and do it again, because there's plenty of that invisible stuff up there. All right, everybody, put both hands out, stretch from the heart, breathe deeply. It will make your chin lift. It'll pull your shoulders back, and reach all the way up, up, up. If you're standing, you can go up on your toes and just pull all of that down right back into the heart, and take another good deep breath. Now, even if you're sitting down in your chair, and especially on the days after the leadership conference, when you're doing great things for Best Buddies, for the people that you are helping, for the people with whom you're working, I want you to notice you can do this from your chair. You can actually do this sitting down. You'll be sitting, you'll do this, and it will feel so good. So whether you are sitting or standing, let's do it one more time. All right, everybody, arms all the way out. Reach up. Grab for that good stuff up there and bring it all the way down into the heart, and hold it there for just a second. Good, 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 good. All right, we are not completely finished with this exercise yet. I told you, shared with you, that a big part of this stretching from the heart, mobilizing the mind, mobilizing the body, it is about self-care. So this little stretching thing, I want you to reach back out again. And as you reach out this time, I want you to put right arm over left in what looks like a hug, because it is. And I want you to squeeze, and I want you just to do a little self-soothing, just a little rock back and forward like this. And now I want you to add this. Oh, I love me. Say it. I love me. Give yourself a good big hug. Good. Drop it down, drop it down, drop it down. All right, one more time. All the way out, stretch all the way out from the heart. And this time left over right, and pull your shoulders in, and just a little self-soothing, a little hug right there, and say, I love Best Buddies. I love my Best Buddies. We are doing great things in the world. Good, good. Drop that down, drop that down. Good, good, good. Okay, all right. So now you're feeling really good and you're thinking, oh, am I going to get a chance to go to the restroom? Because Mark keeps going on with this wellness break. Mark's going to continue on with this wellness break because we've got something so good to do now. We don't know what the future holds. We have been in a time that is so unprecedented in terms of not knowing what the future holds. So we've got a lot of people depending on us. And sometimes what we do is we carry some tension around in our shoulders. We're learning a lot at this leadership conference, and we want to be able to put it all into play. We want to be able to utilize all of it. But sometimes it feels like a lot of responsibility to carry. The other thing is we sit at computers doing this. We lean over a lot. We're in front of the computer. So here's what I want for you to do. I want for you to lift the shoulders up. And by lifting the shoulders up, try to get them all the way up to the ears. Lift it up, lift it up. Take a deep breath and just drop the shoulders down. Good. Shake just a little bit. This is not all. This is step one. Take those shoulders up one more time. All that responsibility you've been carrying, and just drop it down. Good, 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 good. Now I want for you to notice, if you ever watch Charlie Brown, always big at this time of the year. I love watching the Peanuts, Charlie Brown. Watched it as a kid. I still like to watch it with my goddaughter these days. One of the things that the Peanuts characters, you'll see those arms go up sometimes. So like Charlie Brown, they'll do that sort of thing. When we don't know what's going on, sometimes we go, I don't know what's going to happen. So here's what I want for you to do. I want for you to lift the shoulders up, take the arms up, and say, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be okay. Notice how good it feels not only to do that physically, but to say it. So let's do it again. Up. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be okay. Notice that just by saying it, some part of you wants to believe it. Maybe some part of you actually believes it. We can't decide what's going to happen in the world, but we can decide what's going to happen with us. And so instead of carrying all of the responsibility for trying to know what the future is, instead, recognize it. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's all going to be okay. And shake that out just a little bit. Shake out the shoulders. Good, good. Shake everything out and relax just a little bit. Now, for those of you that are still with me and not getting that next coffee or not running to the restroom because you've been holding it for so long, stay with me. And this last exercise, I promise, is going to be one of the most simple that you can do. And by the way, these exercises, you can do them anytime you want. It's just stretching from the heart. It's less about the physical, less about the mental. And yet, when you tap into the heart, it affects the mental, it affects your thought, and it affects the physical. We actually start feeling better. After this wellness exercise, you're either going to say, all right, that was crazy, but I think I'm going to do it again. Or you might say, that really was crazy, and I am going to do it again. So this last exercise, for those of you that are sitting there, if you don't want to move at all, you don't have to move, because this last exercise is the easiest one of all. In body language, we have a thing called mirror neurons. Now, with mirror neurons, it's basically we observe the behavior of someone else, and we are affected or we are infected by that behavior. I like the word infected because I want to infect everybody with a good feeling, if I can. It's vitally important in first impressions, because when we show up and our mirror neurons are reflecting something that feels good, then the person in front of us tends to feel good. Now, why is this important for us at Best Buddies? Because in this wellness break, we can use this. We can use this wellness exercise to be able to influence people that we cold call, people that we're trying to say, hey, Best Buddies, we're doing something really good. Because when you affect your mirror neurons in a video meeting or meeting someone in person, whatever it may be, or just sitting there by yourself, you start to feel a little bit better when you mimic this kind of body language. So in this exercise, just watch and mimic what's happening on my face. Here we go. Notice how hard it is to not smile back. Notice how hard it is not to laugh just a little bit. We get affected and we get infected by the way that other people feel. That's how powerful you are. You can affect and you can infect others with this wonderful, good feeling by simply tapping into an authentic, true smile. How do you tap into that on the days that you don't feel like it, or on the days that you've been looking at a computer screen all day long? Take a look at something that inspires you. We go all the way back to that first exercise. And in that first exercise, one of the things that we were doing was thinking of a person, thinking of a thing, an event, something about best buddies that inspires us. And that will bring a smile to the face. I've seen some of the wonderful videos of the work that you guys do and the people that you affect, and it makes me smile every time. If you watch something like that for 2 minutes or more, it's going to bring a smile to the face. It's going to allow everything in the body, especially the heart, to feel really good, so that the first impression that you make when you have an ask about placement, or when you have an ask about fundraising, or you have an ask to appear to one of the people that you're working with, you're much more likely to have them on board and agree with you and go in that direction. So let's do it one more time. Here we go. Now, I'm going to think of something really nice, something that really makes me feel good. All right, here we go. That time, a little less of a laugh. It was a little bit more of a nice, warm feeling. You don't have to come out with this crazy sort of energy that maybe sometimes you see in other people like Kathy or me. What you do is, once you authentically tap into a very good feeling, it will naturally affect your body language. It will affect your mirror neurons, and then you affect the people around you. Now, what you're going to be able to do with all of this is you're going to be able to take this into the rest of your leadership conference. You're going to be able to take this into your working daily activity. And please come back to these exercises often, because there is nothing more important than that we stretch from our heart. Because remember, what we think affects what we feel, and what we feel affects the world around us. What we think affects what we feel, and what we feel affects the quality of our work. What we think affects what we feel, and what we feel affects the experience of our lives. So, let me see how much time I have left with you. Look at that. We have hit exactly 22 minutes. I did that to make sure I didn't run over, because I can tend to, run over with these things. I promised 23 minutes. You've got 23 minutes. Really quickly, before you run to the restroom or grab that cup of coffee, just do it with me. Reach up, everybody, and say, oh, I am so grateful. Say it. I am so grateful, and I love Best Buddies. I am so grateful, and I love Best Buddies. And bring it all right there to the heart. Take a deep breath. Enjoy the rest of your concert, and thank you so much for joining me on this wellness break. Now, I've got to hit the surf.